Release the Kraken!
Good evening, fellow game designers. This is Ron here with Lame Duck Studios, and we're in another tutorial. This one's going to be about creating this ugly-looking elf dude. That's his name, Elf Dude, right there. So I went ahead and sketched this guy out real quick, and we're just going to put him together. Because, why not? So this is really just a, sort of like a revamp. So last year we made a simple dude. This year I want to make something a little bit more complex. So I'm going to go ahead and add him in. So here is Maya 2018, and all I'm going to do is throw in a plane. And I want my plane to be a decent size. So once I drop that in, I'm going to go to polyplane. Make sure I'm in my channel box. And let's see, width and height. How tall should my elf be? And I'm just going to take my selection tool, select a box over the character. Let me go ahead and get rid of the guide there. That way it's not in the way. And I'll make a box about yay big. Image, we'll do image size. Change this to centimeters. So he is 33.86 by 20, so 34 by 21. So 34 by 20, 21. I'm going to get rid of the extra subdivisions here. So subdivision width and height, get rid of those. And let's throw on our material. I'm going to go to rendering, throw on a Lambert. Let's go ahead and call that image plane. Let's go ahead and locate the image. Okay, file. And wherever you downloaded it to. There he is, Elf Dude. Go ahead and open that up. And 6 to bring up the color. So there he is in its glory. Shown there. Go up to UVs. UV editor. To make it easier to see, I'm going to go up to image and come down to dim. Hey, it's better. If you're in 2016, you'll just see this little mountain picture. There's 2 of them. Just hit the darker one. And what I want to do is size this up so it fits my character. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, go to UV, and I select both UVs in the top. W to move it, hold down the X key. Drag that up to the top. And I want this to fill this out, so grab those on the side, drag this kind of to the middle. And actually you can see this is coming out kind of stretched. And the reason this is stretched is I set this up so that it was taller than it is wide. And you can see it's this way. But this is the correct way. I just have to rotate these UVs. So I'm going to go ahead and select all 4. And then I'm going to go up to transform. Come down to, where is rotation? Rotation. There we go. Click the little rotator. That's going to do a 90-degree rotation. And I'll just resize this up. If you're in 2016, your rotators are up top here. I'm just going to snap those. And you can see it's not quite centered on the plane. I'm going to try to make sure that it is. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this. When you do this, make sure you have all 4 of the UVs selected, not the bottom 2, because you'll get some skewing. Okay, dead center is where we want it. Good enough. So go to object mode. So go ahead and right click object mode or press F8. Control D to duplicate, drag off the new one. And all I do is move these UVs over to the next set. So I'll drag them over. I'll try to center it up. Don't worry about the hands being there. We'll just ignore them. Alright. I am good inside the UV panel. Let's go back into object mode. Channel box. I'm going to rotate this one forward. So we'll do 90, minus 90. And then rotate it 90 degrees that way. Move it back. And this one, I'm just going to rotate this way. So that's going to be minus 90. I'm going to move that back and center over here. So let's set that 0, 0. Okay. Just to make sure that it's centered on the axis there. And I'll move it back. The reason we want these to be center is so that they'll line up. So in theory, the guidelines here should be pretty close. So to kind of show you that the guidelines are where they need to be, I'll just move this back to here and to here, just to make sure. If you do this and you notice the guidelines are off by any reason, just make some adjustments. But they should be pretty close. There's a subtle shift, but that won't be bad enough. Whenever you make your character planes, just make sure that they are lined up properly before you start modeling. Otherwise, you'll go nuts. So however far out you want to adjust them, it's okay. Go ahead and select them both. We're going to put those on a layer. So over in the channel box, we'll select layers and then create layer from selected. Make sure they are selected and then hit create. And you can always test it if you hit the V and they disappear. You know they're on there. I'm going to set this to reference. Oh, before I do that, let's make sure that these guys are in line with the ground. So I'm going to go to a front view. Hit 6. I'm just going to drag this up, make sure his feet are on the ground. And then I'll go into my side view. 6. Make sure his feet are on the ground. They should be, but you never know. Looks like there's a subtle tilt, but it's probably not going to matter. Alright. And then one last thing before we reference this. Let's make sure that this is a reasonable size. So I'm going to go and drop in a cube. And a person inside of Unreal is about 180 centimeters. That's based on somebody who's about 6 feet tall. So on height, I'll do 180. You can see how big that is compared to our character. Width, I'm going to do 64. And depth, I'll do 64. I'm going to move this, so our Y value, half of 180 is 90, so I'll just do that for the Y value. And the reason I'm doing that is because I need to scale up our references to kind of match this. Now we could have done some math and figured it out earlier, but this is a lot quicker. Go ahead and grab them. Make sure you have them both. And press the R key so you can scale. And I grab the middle scaler. And I drag this out. And I keep going just a tad. Now our elf is going to be shorter than a person, but still close enough. So he'll be about yay big. And you can make him taller if you like, but I think this is plenty big. Let's go ahead and move him back again. Move him back. You can keep the sizing block if you really want it. I don't really need it. But I'll go ahead and lock the layer. So set that. You can go ahead and name the layer by double clicking on the name there. I'm going to call that image plane. Save it. That's the same name as our texture, so it's gonna complain about that. So I'll just say that. I'll just call it image. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and save it here. Remember, it's best to save in iterations. So I'm gonna go up to File, Save As, and this is gonna be elf dude. I'll call this 0, 0. And I like to do iterations, that way we can always start from a fresh point. So make sure to go to wherever and save it. The next part of the video, we're going to look at creating the torso. And we're going to make each of the section as a different video because it's going to get kind of long. All right, so I will see you in just a second.